This morning, former President Trump back in court as the prosecution and defense make their closing arguments to the jury of 7 men and 5 women. The state tasked today with tying together the sprawling threads left hanging from more than 20 witnesses over the last 6 weeks. Witnesses like tabloid mogul David Pecker, who described a plan to catch and kill stories that could hurt Mr. Trump's election chances. Prosecutors expected to highlight Mr. Trump himself on tape, discussing how to structure at least one alleged payoff.
What financing?
Former Trump aide Hope Hicks explaining the fallout over the Access Hollywood tape caused a scramble to suppress any stories that could damage Mr. Trump's standing with female voters. But only one witness, Michael Cohen, directly connecting a plot to buy the silence of Stormy Daniels to the alleged crime of doctoring business records. The jury hearing the former fixer drew on a home equity loan to pay the porn star $130,000 on the eve of the 2016 election. Cohen testifying he did it at Mr. Trump's direction, and then the former president approved a bogus reimbursement plan.
It's a persecution, not a prosecution of any legitimacy.
But the defense has tried to sow seeds of reasonable doubt and discredit Mr. Trump's now disbarred lawyer as a prolific liar out for revenge, using his own words.
You better believe I want this man to go down and rot inside for what he did to me and my family.
The crux of the case surrounding reams of invoices, ledger entries, and checks bearing Mr. Trump's signature, all falsified, according to prosecutors, to conceal Mr. Trump's true effort to subvert the election. But the defense argues there was no crime. These are merely 34 pieces of paper, not false records.
All right, Laura is with us now, our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson, also joining the conversation. So, Laura, lay it out. What does the prosecution, what does the defense have to do today?
So the prosecution has to make this make sense. It's sprawling. It's sort of a web of a lot of circumstantial evidence, but they still have to prove the former president's intent. And the only person that they have to do that for them is Michael Cohen. And the defense spent days poking holes left and right in his credibility. And so if the jury believes Michael Cohen, you could see a conviction possibly. If the jury does not believe Michael Cohen, I think it's going to be really hard for the prosecutors to get a conviction.
They have to connect Donald Trump not just to the hush money payment, but to the scheme to cover it up with a business records crime.
The falsification. And Cohen is the only one that says he has advanced knowledge before the payments is made and then actually participates in how they were going to structure the payment, so that he actually puts Donald Trump in the description of a legal retainer to pay him fees when he says he didn't do any legal work for Donald Trump.
And what's the defense's, what's the weakness in their arguments and what are the strengths?
The strength is that he was paying his lawyer. Everybody agrees Michael Cohen was his lawyer. But one of the struggles here is that the defense doesn't really have a story of what happened. If they think this was all on the up and up, why did they structure it in this odd way, paying him way more than he ever was entitled to, grossing up, they say? Why did that happen? Why do it that way? If these were just legitimate legal services, that's curious.
All right, let's turn to Hallie. The X factor, Hallie, has always been how this plays politically, if it has any impact whatsoever on the 2024 election, which, of course, is fully underway now.
Yeah, and I think you call it an X factor for a good reason here, Savannah. We really are not going to know until after this verdict comes down and after people have a minute to sit with it, see what they think, and respond to pollsters on this. But there are some signals in some of these new numbers about what this verdict, when it comes, could mean specifically for independents who are going to play a big role in this election. Now, listen, overall, new numbers show that about 2/3 of all voters feel like this is pretty baked in. Conviction, acquittal, whatever, it is not going to change how they plan to vote come November. But for about 23% of independents, a conviction would make it less likely that they would vote for former President Trump. And by the way, 6% of Trump voters say they'd be less likely too. That's not a big number. That's a small number, to be clear. But again, this is a margins election. It is going to be super duper close. About 60% of voters also say that they believe these charges against the former president are serious. Functionally, what does this mean for the former president once this does finish up, if in fact this trial does end this week? It means he doesn't have to campaign while managing the logistics of the courtroom, right? Typically on Wednesdays, the day off from court, we've seen him do some rallies. We've seen him do a lot of fundraising. He's going to have an unfettered ability to plan that whenever he'd like. Fundraising's critical for him, Savannah, especially considering that since early last year, he's spent about $60 million, he and his allies, on legal fees.
All right, Hallie, thank you. And quickly, Laura, I mean, there are 3 options for the jury here. They can convict, they can acquit, or if even one of them, if they can't agree as a jury, it's a hung jury, and the effect is?
The defense only needs one for there to be a mistrial. They only need one holdout, one who says, I don't think I convict, I think I have reasonable doubt.
All right, Laura, thank you. Hallie, you too, appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.